We are back.
Yep.
Rock Movie Reviews. Here we are. Today we're going to be talking about a film that's been out a couple of years now. What summer did this come out? 2017?
2018.
Okay, so It's been out for over 2 years now?
Yep.
Wow. God, time flies.
Yeah.
It's been a film we've been wanting to talk about for a while, but just haven't found the chance.
Yeah.
This is the highly divisive sequel to, I would say, the majority was positive about the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Hey, girl, you think what I'm thinking?
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
You can't put it back in the box.
Blue!
If I don't make it back, remember you're the one who made me come here.
I'll be all right. These creatures were here before us.
And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. Welcome to Jurassic World.
Oh God, I haven't seen this in a while. I gotta.
I've only seen it once.
I think I've only seen it once too. I should probably go back and watch it, along with the first one, because I think these two Jurassic World films fit together pretty well. Like there's not a huge gap of time in between the two, so you can understand the story pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved the original Jurassic World. It's one of my favorites of the franchise. I mean, the second and the third are not great. And this,
2's not good. 3 is horrible.
Three's horrible. 2's definitely better. I don't think 2 is terrible, but it's also not great.
Yeah.
And then 1's, of course,
It's the greatest.
it's godlike. Yeah, I would put Jurassic World as my second favorite.
Yeah, same.
Definitely. And then this one, Fallen Kingdom, I probably would put as my... I still think this is a better film than Lost World and 3.
So you'd probably put it in the middle?
I would put it right in the middle at like 3, the third spot. Because you've
Yeah.
got Jurassic Park 1, then you've got Jurassic World 1, and then I'd put Fallen Kingdom here. Yeah.
I mean, Fallen Kingdom, I didn't think it was a bad movie at all.
Yeah.
It's probably the most far-fetched of the franchise.
Yeah, you do have to suspend your disbelief throughout most of this movie, I would say.
And honestly, I could kind of say the same thing with Jurassic World too, with just how smart the dinosaur is.
Yeah, you do have to, like you said, it is a bit far-fetched, and you do just kind of have to, like, let it go and be like, just enjoy.
Yeah.
I do think the first Jurassic World is better than this one, but again, I think you and I enjoyed this a lot more than most people did. This, I think this was sitting at a rotten tomato, right?
I think both the critics and audiences were like 48, 49.
Wow.
So
that seems really low.
Kind of like 50-50.
Yeah. They do certain things in this movie that I actually liked more than the original, because the original felt very much like it went back to the first film's plot. They just kind of like expanded it, made it bigger, and more overblown. I feel like this movie, it's in two different halves, and the first half is them going back to the island trying to get the dinosaurs off, and then the second half is this totally unexpected, like, middle part and then this conclusion that I wasn't expecting at all. Even from the trailers, I was like, oh, okay. It actually kind of turns into a horror-esque movie with dinosaurs towards the middle and the end of the movie, which is what I like. Colin Trevorrow, who directed the first film, didn't come back to do this one. Instead, it was J.A. Bayona, who we just recently talked about 2 of his films, The Impossible and A Monster Calls, and the best films of the decade. And this was his first really big budget movie, and I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I don't think it's nearly as good as The Impossible or Monster Calls, because those are totally different animals as far as movies, but I do think he did a good job with this movie. It looks great. It sounds great. I love the score. We'll get into that later. And I liked that what they did with certain characters in this movie that I didn't necessarily like so much in the original.
Yeah.
So, before we jump into characters, you want to give a non-spoilery, somewhat spoilery,
Like a plot
overview
description
of the plot. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so basically, this movie is about the island where Jurassic World is taking place.
Mhm.
The volcano is erupting. It's almost like
Is the new block.
the island is going to just obliterate. So they have
Yeah.
to save all the dinosaurs and get into the rescue. Which I honestly thought that was going to be the movie in general.
I did too. I was like, is this the whole story?
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to sustain that for like it's an over 2-hour movie, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So I was like, how are they going to sustain that?
And then out
yeah.
of nowhere we get into this auctioning thing and a bunch of chaos
Yeah.
comes up.
Yeah. Well.
A
Yeah.
brand new dinosaur, which really is not a brand new dinosaur at all.
Mm-hmm. It was the Indominus Rex in the first one, and in
Yeah.
this, it's the
Indoraptor.
yeah. It's like okay, all right. I mean, I would say the design of it looks cooler than the Indominus Rex, but this whole like making new dinosaur thing, I'm kind of hoping they steer away from that in the
Yeah.
third one. I'm just like, we did it twice. That's fine.
Yeah.
We don't need it again in the third one.
Hey, maybe if there's a dinosaur species none of us really know about, you could add that in there.
That's true. I mean, that wouldn't be creating a fictional kind of dinosaur. You would
No.
be bringing attention to an actual dinosaur that did exist.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that. But as far as like experimenting and making like a hybrid, they've done that twice.
Yeah.
I think just lay that one to rest. I don't think we need it again. So yeah, the Indoraptor is the main, I guess, antagonist of this movie, as well as there's a couple human characters that are so cartoonish.
And it's basically popped up within like the beginning of the second half.
Yeah. The first half, not even the first half. The first third is them trying to get all the dinosaurs off the island. It's really exciting. It evoked that sense of nostalgia from the original Jurassic Park and the original Jurassic World too, because you see all the destroyed parts of the theme park and shit. So that was cool. But at the same time, it was after that they then switched gears. And the people that were basically funding this expedition to get back to the island now want to manipulate and do things with these dinosaurs, because they were able to save a good portion of the dinosaurs. However, what they want to do with them, the main characters do not agree with, and the rest of the movie takes place in this very large mansion, kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That has this whole underground facility that like is keeping the dinosaurs captive, and like you said, they auction them off, and it's like. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't see that coming, so, props for surprise, plot points, but,
And we also get this young girl and her granddad, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yes, we will. Yeah, it's a different beast altogether than the first one, I think, and it definitely feels different, too, the direction, the story. The characters remain kind of the same, but, I guess we'll jump right into characters. Chris Pratt is back as Owen. I mean, Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt.
Oh, yeah.
I like him in everything, and he's good here, too. He's got those good, funny one-liners, and other things of that nature. Just his charisma was very much there.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard is back as Claire. I can't remember her last name. She was somebody who actually kind of annoyed me in the first movie. Like, I thought she was fine, but her whole stuck-up, like, really uptight attitude and the number of times she said certain words like asset or whatever like that, it didn't really work for me. She got more badass towards the end of the first movie, for sure, even with that high heels scene. But I think she's actually more, like, rugged and grounded in this movie.
Yeah.
And I like her character more in this movie. The high heels are gone. She's in friggin' combat boots. So, it was, that was definitely enhanced for me, and I liked her character more in this. And she had more of an arc, too. Not so much in the first one. She was just kind of, like, there.
Yeah.
So, so what else, who else we got? We got James Cromwell as the grandfather that you said of this girl who resides at this mansion, and I think he's slowly dying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not well. It was nice to see James Cromwell back in something, but it was, he's fine. He's good in everything. He doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, but he's at this mansion, and then I think one of the bad guys is played by a relative of James Cromwell's character, I think, right?
I think I don't remember.
Honestly can't remember. Rafe Spall. I'm trying to remember. Rafe Spall. Yeah, plays Eli Mills, and James Cromwell plays Benjamin Lockwood. There we go. So I can't remember. I think he's this investor that is like funding the expedition, but he has other plans that James Cromwell's unaware of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention the other two people that go out on the expedition with Claire and Owen. Justice Smith's Franklin.
Okay.
The glasses, the hair, the one who screams a
Oh,
lot.
you mean the black guy? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Hated
sorry.
his character.
Yeah, yeah, he was a bit.
Like, my goodness.
He was a bit over the top. I've seen the actor in other things, and he is decent, but he was over the top, way over the top. Daniela Pineda as Zia. I actually liked her.
Yeah.
She was fine. But she wasn't over the top like he was,
No.
and I just think her character was more interesting. So, there's that. The other bad guy was played by Toby Jones, character actor, seen him in a lot of stuff. He was very Weasley. What was his character? Mr. Eversole. Yeah. He didn't do anything for me. Rafe Spall was kind of the main villain, and this other guy was kind of his, I don't even know, kind of like his Igor to Dr. Frankenstein, if you will. He didn't do a whole lot for me. To the point where when he died, I was like, yeah, I saw that coming, and I'm glad he's gone, so I don't have to deal with him anymore. So, yeah, those are the main antagonists. And then you talked about the girl. Isabella Sermon plays Macy Lockwood, who is actually not the granddaughter of James Cromwell, but she's a clone.
Yeah,
Spoiler,
of his daughter.
That
Which,
rubbed a lot of
for
people
me,
the wrong way.
it's kind of creepy, honestly.
It's weird, yeah, but I kind of put it aside and I was just like, okay, she's a clone, but at the same time, that's still a person.
I mean, it's like cloning a wife almost.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. And some of the decisions she makes is not the best in the movie, but with what she was given to work with, I thought her acting was good. Well, her character's not fleshed out. No, it's not, but I didn't mind her nearly as much as you did, I don't think. I think the scenes where she's getting chased by the Indoraptor are pretty intense.
Yeah.
So, that's just me. I'm trying to remember. Jeff Goldblum pops in there for a couple of minutes, like towards I think just the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was nice to see him back. Hopefully we get him with more screen time in the final Jurassic World. But, I always welcome more Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
He's Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, B.D. Wong, who was the main scientist in the first Jurassic World, he, what was his character's name? Dr. Wu. He was also in the original Jurassic Park. He did fine, too. His involvement in this movie wasn't really needed. I was like, he's just kind of there for a scene to explain some stuff, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they have him in the third movie, it's like, okay, fine. I'm fine with that, because he is a character that has been reoccurring in the movies.
Yeah.
Save for the second and the third. But regardless, I'm trying to think. I think that's all of the main players in the cast.
Yep.
Do you think of anybody else?
Nope.
Okay. So that's characters, that's cast. Cinematography wise, this movie looks great, just like the first Jurassic World. I'm trying to remember if it was shot by the same person. Do you remember?
I don't know cinematographers at all.
Fair enough. Oscar Faura, he did the cinematography for this film, and I can see why, because he was director of photography for A Monster Calls, amazing looking film. The Imitation Game, also an excellent looking film, and what do you know, The Impossible, also excellent looking film. So yeah, it makes sense that the same cinematographer came back to work with J.A. Bayona because they had a good relationship.
Oh yeah.
I think this movie's great. I think the action looks really good. The CGI blended really well together. I think the first half is stronger than the second half, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just more interesting. But at the same time, when the movie ended, I wasn't like a good portion of the fans where I was like, it just like it rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, that was interesting, that was exciting, and I was invested throughout. Do you have anything else you want to talk about cinematography-wise before we cover the score?
Nope.
No? Okay. Yeah, Oscar Faura's cinematography was really solid, and I think, like I said already, nauseum, I think this is a good-looking movie. Is it better looking than the first Jurassic World? I don't know. I'm not sure, actually. I'd have to go back and look. This has more darker tones and colors to it, especially towards the latter half of the movie, the end of the movie, because there's a lot of different lighting techniques that are used inside the mansion, which kind of makes it more of this horror movie.
Yeah.
Because it's very claustrophobic, and I appreciated that because J.A. Bayona's first film, but not main commercial film, was The Orphanage, which is a horror film.
Yeah.
So I like that he was going back to his roots. Before we score, I want to talk about the musical score. Before we score.
Yeah, score's as good as any other Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, it didn't stand out to me, but at the same time, it wasn't terrible. It's Michael Giacchino. He has composed a lot of films. Star Trek, Ratatouille, War of the Planet of the Apes, Cloverfield, Force Awakens, Super 8, Tomorrowland, a bunch of movies. He's been around a long time. Good composer. Solid score, but not mind-blowing.
No.
Not like stand out. It was decent. We recognized it, and it was just kind of in the background of this movie. I think that's really all I have to say about the music. Like I said, cinematography and music, there's not a whole lot to say because it was very standard and it was very fine for the movie that they were going for.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you score this before me because I'm curious to hear your score.
So I will give this movie a 6.
Okay.
It's above average.
Yeah,
I
would agree. I'm going to go a little bit higher, and I'm going to go 7, just
All right.
because I think I enjoyed this movie a little bit more than you, but at the same time, we're not in the majority when it comes to people who actually...
We didn't hate this film, but we see its flaws.
Yeah, there's plenty of flaws, but I'm still excited for the last Jurassic World movie, and I think that nice gap in between time, because it came out in 2018, the third Jurassic World, I think, comes out in 2021. I think that gap of time will actually help maybe the fan base, and with that short film, Battle at Big Rock, coming out, I think people will come back around to Jurassic World.
Yeah.
And I hope they do, because I think this new Jurassic Park trilogy has been really interesting, and in some ways more consistent than the new Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yep.
So there's that. We'll have to see next year when the third Jurassic World comes out, but I'm definitely looking forward to it more than I was before Fallen Kingdom came out. Because it's a really, again, not trying to spoil anything, but at the end of the movie, like the way that they leave it as a cliffhanger, it's a really exciting premise, a really interesting idea. I just hope they use it to its full potential when the movie comes out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
One more question.
Yeah.
Do you think after this the 6th installment comes out, do you think they should just end it as that?
Yeah, I do, because unlike Star Wars, I think Jurassic Park has kind of run its course.
Yeah.
And I don't really see where they go from this final Jurassic World movie. I think they've kind of explored everything they can.
Yep.
With Star Wars, it's space, so the sky's the limit. Or, I'm sorry, space is the limit. But yeah, I think after this last Jurassic World movie, I think 6 is a good number of movies for a franchise, and just...
They could bring dinosaurs into space.
They could. That's true, they could. But that would be ridiculous. That would be like levels of Fast and Furious ridiculous.
Oh,
just with dinosaurs. Like, stop at this last Jurassic World movie. I'm also glad that Colin Trevorrow's coming back to direct it because, well, I think J.A. Bayona brought his own flavor and style to Fallen Kingdom. I just think Colin Trevorrow was a better fit for a Jurassic World movie. That's all. That's all I have to say. 6 out of 10 from you, 7 out of 10 from me. We both obviously recommend this movie if you haven't seen it. And definitely see it before the last, or probably last one comes out next year. Because if you just watch the first and then the last, I think it'll suffer if you didn't see this one. Because a lot happens in this one that you really should know about going into the third one.
Yeah.
So that's all we have to say about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We'll be back talking about a Star Wars spin-off very soon. And we'll see you guys in that review.
Definitely.
Take care.